G'day everyone, just actually watching the live Canon announcement. I'm just trying to see if we can have a chat about it as it actually comes on. I'm just trying to see, let me see what happens if I turn the volume up, whether we can hear it all together.
The EOS camera is just the first model in this system, and it will not be the last.
So it's on live now.
Hey
everyone, just actually... Oh, I've got to wait for that to finish. Yeah, so it's on live now. So it's going to be interesting to see what the specs are. So let me just see if they start to say what the specs and everything are of this. We can all have a look together. It should be interesting. I thought it was tomorrow. I just logged on now because I thought I'll just have a chat with all of you. And someone just messaged me to say that they were watching the live announcement on right now. So let's have a look and see what's happening together. So say hi if you're in the chat, because we can all look at this together and have a discussion about it all. It should be interesting. I'm just waiting to see if the specs are exactly the same as what they said before. Now, I'm not sure whether I'm going to feed back into this. I wonder if I have my ear things, whether I can get rid of that. Let me try this. Let's see if I put this on and whether it works. Where are we? Just turn Bluetooth off on this, and then I'll stick these on and see if it helps. So let me turn this up. Let's see if I can get this on, whether it feedback into this. Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter. So I'm not going to talk for a minute. I just want to hear what they're saying, and then we can have a comment about it in the chat. And then I'll stick these on and see if it helps.
We are joining.
Just turn Bluetooth off on this, and then I'll stick these on and see if it helps.
All of them, and all of you,
yeah,
to be the revolution.
So I'm not going to talk for a minute. I just want to hear what they're saying, and then we can have a comment about it in the chat. So I'm not going to talk for a minute. I just want to hear what they're saying, and then we can have a comment about it in the chat. I can't believe they've got that guy in their feed. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I mean, check out that guy doing the... this is their presentation, and they've got this big head sitting in their actual live feed. This is hilarious. Unless that's not their main feed, this is someone else. Oh, actually, no, this might... Well, I don't know. Is it their live feed? Oh, no, this is Dan Watson, I think. So this is Dan Watson streaming. So it may not be their actual live feed. Let me see if I can get... Let me just see what comes up. Because that can't be their live feed, surely. Let me go to... Canon mirrorless. Let's see if that comes up. I don't know whether it's coming up anywhere. Put in the chat if anyone has an actual live feed, because I'd be curious to know if there is one. There's got to be a live feed somewhere, but that was from Dan Watson's feed. So I'm not sure where that was coming from, because this can't be the main feed, because you wouldn't have that guy's head sitting in there, would you? There's no way you'd actually have that guy's head sitting in there. I think this is Dan's. Obviously, he's gone over there for it. I'm not sure whether anyone is saying anything. Yeah, a few people are saying it'd be nice if that guy backed up. I'm waiting for the specs to come up. I really want to see what these specs are, and then we can have a chat about it, because that's the interesting thing that I'm actually want to talk with you guys about. So hopefully they won't take too long, and they will release the specs, and we can have a chat about that. While we're waiting on this, because there doesn't seem to be much happening, let me just turn the volume back up again. I'm waiting for the specs to come up. I really want to see nice if that guy backed what these specs are, and then we can have a chat about it, because that's the interesting thing that I'm waiting for the specs to come up. I really want to... while we're waiting on this, because oh. I think YouTube's hit a bug. I don't think it's working. Hang on, let me see if I can refresh the feed. Let me see if it comes back. It's just basically doing this at the moment, which is just scrolling around like not doing anything. I think the Canon sites hit a the Canon sites hit a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Oh my God! No, it's not you, Kiki. It's not you, Kiki. It's obviously the Canon side of the launch event, but there's got to be an official Canon feed, isn't there? Canon full frame. Surely there's got to be an official launch site. Let me go down to here. I'm going to put a new window up and see if I can bring up one that we can have a look at. Live stream Canon EOS versus Nikon. Hang on, it might be this one. Oh no, that's Dan Watson. That is Dan's. Surely there's got to be a live feed. I think Dan Watson's Dan Watson's things hit a glitch. If you look at it, it's just sitting there like this. This isn't a good start, but there's got to be. Surely there's a Canon launch, isn't there? Surely. Can't find one. I'm not sure. This is ridiculous. Well, that went really well. I'm going to leave it in the background and we can have a chat about it once these things become official. Because at the moment, Dan's thing sucks because there's just nothing happening. All right, so let's have a chat anyway. Look, I'm going to open up the chat. Let me move these down a little bit. And I'll leave that running and just see if we can actually get some stuff happening. I can answer some questions with you guys and everything as well. Because I think, according to this, I can only find one where it has Dan's feed actually in it. So let's have a look. Anyway, we've got Rob watching the live stream from Maui. How are you watching it, Rob? Are you watching Dan's feed? Because I'd be curious to know if you actually are, because we can't get anything from that at all. Carl's in here. Oreo, g'day Oreo. Mark, hello as well. Fathom Rocker, hello David. Enjoying a nice cold Corona after a long productive day of shooting brick walls. That's good. Mike saying howdy. Steve saying greetings. Charles Boston is just saying hi. Michael saying hello. Mark is also saying there it is. Rob, hello. No real details yet. Yeah, well, there's nothing I can see in the live event, that's for sure. It's just spinning. Peter's just saying hello as well. Michael Ibis, dual card slots. Well, we don't know because I can't get anything from there at all. Stephen Black saying morning from the UK. G'day, Stephen. Barry's saying hi. Flying high, hello, hi. It will be interesting. Should I wait for the Pro model or be buying the A7 III? That's the question. You're talking about the A7S III flying high. If you need the video side of things, I'd wait a little bit longer. Otherwise, the A7 III is an amazing camera, so I wouldn't hesitate using that either. MBW said, is the conference live? Well, I think so. That's what, I mean, I heard that Dan Watson was streaming live, but it's just crashed. B&B Film says, yeah, Dan Watson, YouTube DSLR video shooter. Is that what Dan Watson's is? DSLR video shooter. Let me just try that and see. DSLR IDEO SHOT. Let me see if that comes up. Oh, hang on, it's back on live now, I think. Let me just scroll back into there. All right, I think we're back on. We're back on. There's still nothing happening though. They're just showing the lenses. I'm waiting for them to show some actual details and then we can actually talk about it. So let me keep going with the thing here anyway. Barry's saying hi. MBW says it's a live content. Yeah, if it's meant to be live at the moment, but it's not very good quality anyway. YouTube channel Digital SLR Video Shooter. I've got one going. Dan Watson is live. Yeah, that was the one I was looking at a minute ago, and it basically wasn't working at all. Why the echo? Are you getting echo, are you? Let me have a look. Oh, you're getting echo. You're not getting echo now. I think that was because I was talking and it was coming back through the system. Now, let me just see what they're saying about this thing here a minute. Oh, I've got to wait for it to finish. So they're talking about the ND adapter there, obviously, being able to slip in. That'd be the variable ND. You probably move the controls or something to alter stuff. I'm not sure if that works or whether that's just a clip that actually goes into the side through there. You could probably also, I don't know whether you can also put polarizers in that or whether it's just an ND filter. So it is variable, so obviously you can just use those controls to actually change something. Gee, I wish the feed was better. It's terrible. I can't even read what the I can't even read there what the things are saying. It's terrible. I'm going to go back to questions. I might have to come back on this later, and as soon as I can get the specs, I'll pop back on. Let's keep going anyway. Tony Northrup's Twitter feed is there live as well, Gary. No, I'm getting the same digital SLR shooting thing there. What have we got? Here, live feed on Canon Rumours page. Oh, Canon Rumours have got one, have they? All right, let me try that. Let me see if that's better. No, that's still terrible as well. Yeah, it's awful. I'm going to wait until they start releasing stuff. I'm just going to have a little chat with you guys, I think. Let's have a chat, and if they start to come up with some things, we can have a discussion about it. What else have we got? Daniel, they're only a camera company. Stop thinking they should have a good live stream with good visuals. I don't know if it's their fault. It might be just that that's other feeds coming in. I'm not sure, but it's terrible, actually. I mean, it looks awful. Canon sucks. Gary Nielsen, Digital SLR Video Shooter is working. How bad was it? What did I miss? Well, we don't know yet because I'm still waiting so I can actually see something. Canon has blocked all feeds to Sony shooters. MBW says, does Sony hate vloggers? Laugh out loud. Flip out screen for the new camera, maybe. They're talking about the F2. Langston said Canon has posted some official release on their site. No official tweet about the launch. Great to catch a live show in the UK. Good to see you on here, John. It's been a bit of a disaster because I can't get anything working, but, well, it doesn't matter. What else have we got? Sam said, Digital SLR Video Shooter on YouTube seems to be working now. Yeah, it's working, but it's not very good. Google search Canon Live, I just did. Yeah, it's come up, but it's very blocky. Like, you can't even really see it. And I have great internet access here. Like, it's very fast what I've got, and it's basically not usable. So it's either being slammed or it's just a crap feed. Genzi said, thanks for the updates. No worries. Let me keep coming down. Aria said, live feed on Canon Rumours. Yeah, that's what I did. It's 10 minutes that they try and tell you. Canon Asia YouTube got posted video about the ESR. Sam said the photo blogger on Facebook has a good feed. Oh, okay. Photo blogger on Facebook. I don't think I'm even part of them. I'll just talk about it later on, I think. Sam said it's actually clear. It's not clear on my end, that's for sure. I'll show you the feed I'm getting. That's the feed that I'm getting here. It might depend where you are as well. But it's certainly not very good. They're still talking about lenses at this stage. It has 10-bit output. Yeah, well, that's what we thought it was actually going to have. Flying high, my camera obscura has a better focus than the live stream. Father Rocker said this live feed would never fly with Sony. I know, isn't it? Oh, well, that can't be their live feed, surely. They've got to be having a better live feed coming out. To fly people out to Hawaii, you would think this camera would be the next biggest technology marvel. I know, I can't believe they've done that. Here, the stream is okay, probably because it comes from Spain. You may be right, Oreo. Panasonic is planning for the full-frame system. Any thoughts on that? Well, it's interesting. I can't wait to see what they actually offer. And it's going to be interesting, too, to see what their lens mount is, because no one knows that yet. If they do go down the Leica line, it's going to be very, very expensive. So whether they're going to have some other mount, we just don't know. So I'm not commenting much about it at this stage on the Panasonic side until we see what their whole system is. We won't have long to wait. Richard said it's 3:17 in the Caribbean. Can't believe you're up. Benjamin said all the feeds are being shot on Sony. Sam said if you go on Facebook and put in the photo blogger, you'll see his live feed. All right, let me try it. Is it photo? Where are we? The photo blogger. PHOBLOGRAPHER. So does it live or is that just a... I think he's only got pictures. Hang on. I don't think there's anything live though. I can't see anything live with that though. I'm not seeing it live. I'm only seeing pictures. Hang on, let me go back and see if it's got something else. Yeah, I'm not seeing... Oh, hang on, there we are. All right, let me try that and see. Anything live with that, though. I'm not seeing it live, I'm only seeing pictures. Hang on, let me go back and see if it's got something else.
At the same time, it's revolutionary because we designed the system around expanded parameters.
Oh, hang on, there we are.
Optical possibilities.
Right, let me try that and see.
Our confidence for optical performance, operational specifications,
oh, hang on, there we are.
and size and
Right,
weight
let me try that and see.
are at the heart.
I can't do it because there's an echo coming back through. It must be the way this system works with Wirecast. If I listen to that, then I'm hearing myself and it's all looping and it's freaking me out. I'm just going to... Anyway, at least I can see that sort of clear. We might be able to see if they bring up some specs. So let's keep going with all these questions anyway. I'm probably just going to delete this once we've done it anyway because I can't really leave this up. It's quite funny. What else have we got? Sam said it's actually clear. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad on that one. So I'll see if they come up with anything that's decent enough. Oreo said they said the camera has C-Log. Oh, interesting. So they did say that, did they? If anyone else is watching and they can have the volume on, we'll obviously comment in the comments here because we can have a chat about it. I can't turn the volume up because I'd get this stupid feedback that keeps going. Well, at least they've put log in because they were saying originally there was going to be no log put into that camera. So that's actually interesting in itself, isn't it? That they have put log in there. Now, let me see what I'll do. Oh, there's nothing really happening at the moment, so I'll just keep talking to you guys. It's 8:20 in the UK. Great to catch you live. Good to see you on here, Gary. That's why I've popped on later for you guys. I actually didn't even know this announcement was on until I logged on, which was quite funny. C-Log is internal. Well, I don't know yet. We're going to have to wait and see all this yet, whether that's all internal, whether the 10-bit is internal as well. B&B Film says, I'm not sure. The person streaming must also be listening to you. Give David a thumbs up. UBW said, do you think the Tamron will release any more lenses for Sony E-mount? Well, I don't think it will happen this year, but I hope they do release one soon, because that lens clearly has been, it's kicked the ball out of the park, really, hasn't it? The 28-75 is amazing. And like I said, I probably will get that lens when it's in the shops. You still can't purchase it. But every review that's come out now is basically saying that why would you buy the 24-70? Because this thing is just as sharp. In fact, they're saying in the centre it's sharper. It's just if you go to the outside edges on that lens, it's a little bit softer. I adored it when I used it. Particularly, it works so well on the gimbal. Hi, your coffee. Put Sony, that interests me. Hi, your coffee. I'm not sure what that means. You're talking about this. So it was great. The thing that I loved about that lens so much was, and this is why I'm thinking about getting it, is because it works so well on a gimbal. It's so light. Also, it has this amazing almost macro feature that you can shoot using, basically, looks like it's macro. You can get that close to images. And that really appeals to me, particularly for doing wedding videos and stuff like that, because I can get close up to the bride's bouquet and details and things like that. And it was so light that it works so well on a gimbal. So, yeah, it's definitely a lens that I seriously will think about getting. Fathom Rocker said, what is the name of your Facebook group? Yeah, it's the Photography Videography School. I'll show you the name. Let me just come up here. And then you should just be able to type it in and find it. Where are we? So it's actually this group. Let me just click on here. It's this group here. So if you search for that, Photography and Videography School, it should work. Let me see if I can copy it and put it in here. It may work. I'll stick it in here and just see if it works. So try that and see if it works. If not, all you have to do is search for that Photography and Videography School. I think it's the only one on there, so you could join it that way too. Oreo is saying, Wixing said 422 Canon log internal. Interesting. So have they said that, have they? Well, that's good if that's the case. Well, that certainly is better than the Nikon, which you have to do external. So that's really good. Canon log supported. Yeah, well, we don't know yet. I'm still waiting to confirm whether the log, that 422 10-bit is internal or whether it's still external. Oreo said, the speech is quite comical. The guy keeps saying how the camera is innovative. As the leaders, they feel the responsibility of innovation, etc. Where did they live the past 3 years? That's funny. Mr. YouTube is just saying morning. John said 4K 30p with C-Log and 10-bit 422 HDMI output. John, but is that internal or did you have to use that to a recorder? That's what we're still waiting on finding out, because I'm curious about that myself. Carl says, I think I'm going to get the A9 to shoot wildlife children. I hope you're talking about photography, Carl. It's amazing. I adore that camera. It's still my favourite camera. I absolutely love it to death. Greetings, Humour from Spain, Nick on Z. All people are waiting in Spain to buy the Z. R apparently stands for revolution. Fathom Rocker said, got it. I just made a Facebook account for it. Yep, good. Thanks, mate. What's happening? Shamsul says. Daniel says, hi. G'day, Daniel. Good to see you on here. Matt's trying to figure out about the log, but the site, Canon Rumors, says nothing about it. Yeah, well, no one's sort of saying yet whether it's internal or external. They're really not doing anything in that announcement at the moment. It's just sort of sitting there like this. It's just nothing's happening at all. It's like boring. I don't know whether the cameras are pointing the opposite way, so perhaps there's something going on this other angle that we're just not seeing. Don't know that's what it says on the slides that it was used during the live feed. Yes, of course, good morning all. Daniel says, I bet Sony will slot a 24 PM A7 III in between A7 III and A7R core stack sensor. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're obviously waiting for a reason, Daniel. Clearly they want to wait and see what Canon do and probably what Panasonic are going to do before they announce anything. Mark says, looks like a primary classroom. It does, Mark, doesn't it? I mean, if you're looking at it, it does. It looks... That's a terrible presentation. I mean, surely they've got a better feed than that. Clearly that's got to be going out somewhere or they're... I don't know. They're talking about Canon history. Kind of boring, I know. Why do they do all this stuff all the time? I mean, honestly... Make it interesting. Make it short, sharp, and sweet and get to the point instead of going through all of this rubbish that they do. I think they try and do Apple, but they just can't do it, can they? That's the thing. They just can't do that type of announcement. Sad thing is, if Nikon and Canon survive, we'll have to wait at least 2 years for them to catch up to Sony. Well, and even then, they probably won't because then Sony will have announced other things, Daniel. So that's the interesting thing. They're going to be playing catch-up for, I don't know for how long now. Christina said, listening from Hawaii, I'm excited to see what Canon does. I'm really interested in the lens, though. Yeah, the lens look amazing, Christian. They really do look great. You think Sony can come up with a 2870 f2? Well, they probably could if they wanted to, but I don't know if they're going to. I know you're very lucky, you Canon people with those lenses. Sam said they're talking about Canon history, kind of boring here. Terry says, I want to buy the Z7 to take to Spain for a shooting vacation. Venom says, this looks like a high school presentation or worse. OGW said, better not be too good, this ESR. I just bought the A7R III. I don't think you're going to regret buying that camera, to be honest. Peregrine says, Canon is telling us why it's so fabulous that they are never first to the market. Daniel says, OG, why no way it's a nice 42 megapixel camera. Oh, you're talking about that one. Yeah, I know. Why would you regret buying that? Corporate move will stop Canon users from jumping. Well, that's probably what they're thinking, aren't they? They're probably thinking that at the moment with this release that it's going to stop people jumping ship. And I think that's all that Canon are probably hoping at this stage. They're still just talking there. I mean, they've still just got this slide going on, so I don't know when they're going to actually post anything meaningful on there. Nothing really happening at this stage. Francisco said, like the adapter options and the lens ring functionality, the rest is just okay. I missed that, Francisco. What did they say the lens ring was? Could you program that lens ring to do other features? Is that what that was? Because I did notice when I was looking at that you had that lens ring option, that lens ring right near the end of the lens, near the glass end, you know. So I was interested to know what that is. Can you program it to do anything? Let us know in the chat, because I couldn't hear it. Rui says, hello from Alabama. They're just now talking about 600mm lenses. So they're talking about the release on that. Check Canon Asia channel. Yeah, the problem is for me, Victor, I can't have the audio on because it's doing a loop back and it's no good. Venom says the presentation actually makes me want to jump ship now. What, away from Canon? Is that what you're saying, Venom? I love it. That's cracking me up. That's funny. World's lightest, what they say now, world's lightest 400mm and 600mm. Look, this guy's got a gift. He's been given a gift of something. I don't know what it is, but it's got confetti in there. I don't know what it is. Yeah, you can change ISO. Oh, okay, well, that is good. That you can change ISO and other stuff with it, so it probably is fully programming. Well, that's a great feature. I do like that. Yeah, you can change. Daniel said, let's be real, part of the owners will now stay with Canon. Nikon part will jump and part will wait. Sony will now play in a 4 or 5 full-frame mirrorless market. That's good for us. Well, it is. It's great. Look, I was hoping the announcements were going to be better, though, because I did want Sony to be pushed to announce something very quickly, and I don't think they are going to be with what these announcements are. That's why I think, you know, we may not now see the A7 S3 until later this year. I think if these were really good announcements, they would have probably been announced at Photokina. Ring can be programmed to do most options. Well, that's fantastic. I love that. They've done a great job, Canon, with these lenses, haven't they? I mean, they really have. They look like they're well made. They're 1.2 great lenses. The 28-75 looks like a great lens. And having that programmable ring at the end is fantastic. I mean, that's really good. Quite a nice quick way to change your aperture or something as well. It will allow lens to work like our lenses with the focus ring programmable. ISO and white balance. White balance could be cool too if you're doing video. You know, to be able to change that fairly quickly. Still not much happening on there, so I'll click back if we see anything that's actually anything interesting. Oh, the live video feed has ended. What? Well, that one just ended. Well, that didn't tell us much. Was that it? Is that their announcement? Oh, let me just click back. I'm just going to see if we've got... Let me see if they come back on. Everyone gets a nifty 50 that attended. Yeah, I bet they won't get the 1.2. That's for sure. Mikhail says, first gen, everyone needs to calm down. Sony people will still be Sony people. This is for Canon people who want full frame mirrorless option. What else have we got? Anything other interesting things there? Really interesting to see all of YouTubers still talking about Sony cameras. No one talking about their sensor life. Unfortunately, Sony still don't have quality, just marketing. I don't know what you mean by sensor life, Jacob. I've never had an issue with a Sony camera at all, so I'm not sure what you mean with that. For all intents and purposes, Canon and Nikon will catch up to Sony very quickly because they will bring out the lenses the vast majority will want straight off. And that's one true point, Terry. The lenses seem to be amazing that you're getting, and I am jealous of that aspect for sure. Fathom Rocker said, free Canon key lanyards. I think it's over. What have they announced, though? Let me go to Canon and just see if they've actually put anything on there. Just seeing what they're saying. Is there anything different to... Let me scroll back over here and we can have a look. So this is The Verge just talking about basically what's been announced. As previously leaked, the EOS R camera is built around the 30.3 megapixel full-frame sensor with an ISO range of 100 to 40,000. The sensor uses dual-pixel autofocus and is paired with Canon's Digic 8 image processor. There's a fully articulating touchscreen as well as an OLED electronic viewfinder. While the camera basically looks like a slimmed-down digital SLR, the EOS system breaks away from Canon's traditional control scheme in a few ways. Notably, all the lenses have dedicated control rings, which I've discussed with you a minute ago. There's also a sliding left-right control bar on the back of the camera that can be used for various other features, which I suppose is their idea of that joystick. The first EOS lenses are the 24-105 f4, a 50-1.2, 28-70 f2, and a 35 1.8 macro. What is it saying there? Canon is also releasing 3 lens mount adapters for EOS SLR lenses, including 1 EOS R control ring. The camera will be available body only or with a 24-105 lens in late October. So it's late October if you want to put pre-orders in now for it. We're at Canon's EOS R event in Tokyo. I'll bring you more news soon. I don't know if there's anything other than that. I'm just putting this on to see what they're showing. So this is the official announcement. So I suppose we're going to see the specs coming out fairly soon with this, which will be interesting. So they haven't, I don't know if they've announced much at all though, like, you know. I'm still waiting to see what specs are announced. I would think that that would come out. Yeah, the feed stopped, Torben. It's actually stopped. I don't know why it's come out. So basically, it looks like you're going to get this in late October. That's the 24-105 f4 lens that's going to be announced immediately. They're not even saying how soon the 51.2 or those other lenses are going to be announced. Either high-speed AF... I'm just seeing if it mentions anything on this with specs. Dual pixel, 88% horizontal. I'm not sure. Geez, it went quick. I'm still waiting too to find out whether it's the dual card slots or single card slots. They haven't mentioned that either, so I guarantee it'll be single card slot. They're showing the panel there on the top. 4K UHD mode. These are just showing the lenses. That's showing you that little scroll wheel thing. Which is interesting. I'm not sure how it moves up and down though. They were showing IAF there. Did you notice that? That was showing IAF. So it definitely has IAF looking at that. I'm just trying to see if I can get that back again. Let me just scroll back. Where was that? I saw it because it showed it for a second. Let me come back here. Looks like... There you go. So it's focusing and then scrolling through is changing the focusing modes. There's IAF. So it definitely looks like it's got IAF in it. We don't know how well it works, but that showed that it had IAF in there. That's showing how the control wheel will actually work. And I think that's a great feature. That is a really nice feature to actually have there. Just trying to see if they show anything else. 28 to 70 f2. Look at the size of that lens. That would be amazing. That's gorgeous. It's like carrying a prime lens around with you that you can shoot at all those focal ranges. That's amazing. I wish Sony had something like that. Again, it's still just showing the different lenses. That's the 35 1.8 macro. So it certainly looks interesting. They haven't mentioned yet, and I suppose I'll be able to find that shortly. They'll release the specs very soon, I would say, the official one, but they haven't said on this whether it is a single card slot. I guarantee it is. If they haven't showed 2 card slots, it is only a single card slot. These adapters look really cool. The one with the built-in ND looks really nice. Again, we're going to have to see performance on these to see how they actually work. Let's see if it says anything else. I think that's it. Chris said the M50 has IAF and it sucks. Yeah, it may be the same, Chris. The IAF, it did show it, so at least we know it has IAF, but we don't know, looking at that, how good the IAF actually is. but it definitely showed it. So that answers that for people that are saying, does this have IAF? Well, we saw that in that thing there. So let me just come back and just see if there's other things have come up. Let's see what Canon Australia are saying. Hi, Michael. How are you? Specifications. Here we go. So let's see what it says. Effective megapixels 30.3, digit 8. Eye autofocus, yes. So it's said here that it definitely has eye autofocus, so that's now being confirmed there. It is saying the AF point positions is 5,655. Now, I think that's a little bit of terminology there. I just think they're saying that that's the number of points. I think it's due to the way dual pixel can work, the number of times that can move across the screen. I don't think there's actually 5,655 AF points, but one of the Canon people in this may be able to let me know about that, because I'd be really curious to know if that's correct. I think this is just terminology, but we'll find out what's on there. It's saying AF is -6 to 18, but that is, remember, dealing with a 1.2 lens. You'd probably find that that's similar to Sony, because Sony, I think the A9 is -4, and that was with a 1.4 lens. So if you put a 1.2 on, it probably would be about the -6 as well. So you're probably saying there that it probably is about the same amount as the Canon, as the Sony, for instance. The electronic viewfinder is 3.6 million dots, so that's good. Time-lapse movie mode, yes, 4K or FHD resolution, so it does have time-lapse movie mode. Continuous shooting is approximately 8 frames per second. And the LCD monitor is 2.1 million dots. Touchscreen and touch drag autofocus is both yes, so it has that as well. Recording media is only one slot. You can see here that it's saying recording media is 1x SD, SDHC, SDXC memory card, UHS-1 and UHS-2 compatible. So it is a UHS-2 compatible card, but it is only the one actual slot. Let me just come over here to see what else it says. It also says Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, yes, so it's got both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Maximum recording size is 4K 30p, so that is its maximum recording size. ISO speed range is 100 to 40,000, and then there's obviously the H2 where it goes up to 102,000. The battery grip is also optional. I don't know whether is that all the specs that they're actually saying? I'm just trying to have a look what else they're saying in here. It's not giving you all the specifications though. It must only be a few, because let me just download this brochure. I just want to see if that shows anything more. Oh, hang on. Let me have a look. Let's have a look in here. So it's saying it's got an outstanding 5,655 available AF points. Frame coverage area is 100%, vertical 88 and horizontal. Eye detect AF and the ability to focus in the dark down to minus EV6. I'm just trying to see if it has anything else in here that's interesting. Obviously, it's a 30 megapixel sensor. They're not saying whether that's the same as the 5D Mark IV, though. I don't know. A 3690 dot EVF, so that's quite nice. Dual pixel. Let me just see if I can blow this up for you guys. Oh, let me just see if I can enlarge this a bit here. Might be better. So it's dual pixel CMOS. You can use obviously Wi-Fi NFC, so that's quite nice as well. Variable angle, so yeah, it's a full articulating touch screen. Now let's have a look at this, because this is interesting. EOS full HD. Canon Capture 4K 30p movies with Canon Log. So it has got Canon Log and 10-bit output via HDMI. So you do have to get the output to an external monitor if you want to use 10-bit. And that's probably Canon Log as well. So if you want to get Canon Log and you want to get 4K 422 10-bit, it has to be to an external monitor looking at that. But at least they're giving you that. Now, that wasn't mentioned before. So that's great for you Canon videographers out there. At least you have that, which is now matching what the Nikon Z had. So that's really good. Let's keep scrolling down. That's got the Digit 8 processor. ISO 40,000, 4K 12,800. Oh, that's interesting. So is it saying you can only use up to 12,800 in 4K? Yeah, I wonder why. That's really interesting. It says here, for stills you can get up to 25,600 for full HD movies and 12,800 when shooting 4K. So you're limited to 12.8 with 4K. Look, that's still amazingly high. I never shoot over 6,400. Really, I don't even shoot over 3,200 to be honest. So I think that's really ample. It does say here that you have IAF. When the camera detects a human face, it uses the subject's eye as an autofocus point. Perfect for portrait shooting with large diameter lenses that require precise focus. So it definitely does have IAF. We just have to wait to see how good it actually is at this stage. So I suppose we'll soon know once they get this out in testing. It does have 4K time-lapse movie. Create impressive 4K time-lapse movies in camera. The EOS R can also track auto exposure for each image taken during the time-lapse sequence. So that could probably use auto exposure if you're doing it over a long period of time, which sounds quite nice. It does have dual pixel RAW. What that does, it allows you to fine-tune your images in post-production. I don't know how useful that is. I think it's probably a bit of a gimmick, but Canon users may be able to say in this if they think it's actually useful or not. Shoot multiple images quickly. Now, I'm interested down here if it tells us the full specs, because that's 8 frames per second, but I want to see how that's actually giving that. In-camera RAW processing JPEG, easy sharing for Canon Camera Connect app. Okay, that's anything big. EOS R compatibility with Canon's fastest, sharpest lenses with the RF lens range, which also features lens control ring, which I really like. It has got silent shutter as well. How well that works, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see if that sensor is quick enough to do that. Take photos. Silent shutter allows users to take photos without creating a sound. Perfect for capturing natural reactions or shooting in situations otherwise that would be impossible. Now, they're those things, but let's come down here and just have a look at some of these specs because I'm curious to know in here if I see anything that's interesting. So it's definitely confirmed that it is compatible with UHS-2 and UHS-1 cards. I wonder what that asterisk is, though. I'm not sure. Just says down the bottom here that setting range offers when recording movies. I'm not sure what that means. EF and EFS lens supported with a mount adapter. What else? We'll go down this side first and then I'll move it across so we can have a look at that. Dual pixel CMOS, approximately 30.3 megapixels. Aspect ratio is 3:2. Recording format, JPEG RAW, CR3, Canon 14-bit RAW format. Dual pixel RAW setting available. They're the picture styles that it has. Highlight tone priority is also there, it's saying. Let me move this over now so we'll have a look at the other side for autofocus. What's it saying over here? AF is face plus tracking 1 point. AF expanded AF area, and obviously it has face detect as well. AF points 5,655. Now this is interesting. Available AF areas when automatically selected is 143. So I'm not sure about what all this means. We're going to have to wait and see. Touch and drag is saying available. It's got manual focus peaking, so it does have focus peaking. Eye detection AF available. Continuous AF available. I'm just trying to see if it says about the burst rates too. Focus brightness range minus E4 to 18 at room temperature. I'm not sure what that means. So is that movie recording? So I think movie recording, it's saying -4 to 18. Oh no, that's brightness range. So is the focus range different in movie than it is in stills? Because it's -6 in stills. That's interesting. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that grabs my attention. It is 1/8000th of a second. I haven't seen anything yet about flash sync speed, so I'll mention that when we can get to that. Let me just scroll back over here. Exposure control, there's nothing really I need in that at this stage. If you're using highlight tone priority set, you've got a minimum limit of ISO 200. Now 4K recording, it is 30p. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else in here that I can see that is interesting. No, nothing really there. The HDR shooting, so it does have HDR shooting in there as well, which is interesting. So it has got HDR. You can do multiple exposure. It's saying you can also do silent shutter. You can also have touch shutter is available, obviously, on the screen as well. Let me just move this over to this other size. Let's have a look here. Single shooting, drive mode, self-timer. It's saying high-speed continuous shooting is maximum 8 shots. I'm just trying to see where it mentions the other shots, how it differs if it does change. Continuous shooting for high speed or high speed continuous shooting may be lower depending on the conditions such as battery level. Okay, that's really nothing. So JPEG large, you can do 100 shots in the buffer. RAW, you can do 34 shots. Or it says actually approximately 47. I'm not sure what that is there. Why is that's so different? So the buffer's not massive in this camera. Speed lights, they're saying here that it's compatible obviously with the Canon normal speed lights, the ETTL flashes. I haven't seen flash sync speed though mentioned anywhere at this stage. Whether it's mentioned before. Recording format is MP4. Its video is H.264, so it is better, definitely better than what the 5D Mark IV had. 4K, full HD. It doesn't tell me whether that you can do what resolution though you can actually do in that though. So I'm curious to know. Oh, hang on, frame rates. So it's got 60p and it's got 100p for high frame rates. So it does look like it's 100p for high frame rates, but I'm not sure whether that's 720p though. I'm not sure, 720, I'm not sure. I can't tell. Let me keep scrolling down if there's anything else in here. Oops, let me just come back over. Sound recording, it's got a built-in stereo mics, external mic jack provided. Headphones are there. Time code can be appended. It's got Canon log available for card recording when set to 8-bit and HDMI output. So yeah, definitely 10-bit is an output. HDMI output, image output with information display available, 4K output supported. I don't really think there's much else that we have to look at the moment. Let me just check over here. I think that's about it. Battery life, let me see if it mentions down here what battery life is. let me just scroll up and move this over. So it's saying in here, battery life, number of possible shots, approximately 370 shots at room temperature. So the battery life is not fantastic looking at that. But remember, these are all numbers that, you know, you probably get double that. But it also doesn't say, I don't think, how much movie recording time, 2 hours, 20 minutes. Well, that's okay. That's good. So movie recording time, 2 hours, 20 minutes at room temperature. Well, that's fantastic. So obviously, if you're shooting movies, that's great. 2 hours, I'd be happy. That's great. 2 hours, 10 minutes is fantastic. So I think that's pretty good. So you can download this now. I notice. Where did I get it from? I got it from canon.com.au. So you can download that from there as well. So a couple of things I suppose I was interested about there. It is only the one card slot, so they have followed the Nikon Z in that respect, but they have given the 10-bit 422 out, which is interesting in itself, because that wasn't rumoured anywhere, I don't think. So that's pretty good. The other things there, I suppose it has IAF, so if we were wondering about whether it had that, that's now been confirmed that it does have that. We don't know how well that actually is or how well that works. So yeah, it's interesting to see at least that they've got that. So I think overall it's not too bad, apart from the dual card slot, which really I wish it had. It does have the advantage of the fully articulating screen though, so that's one real great feature about this camera. And I think it will probably shoot video very well, obviously, because Canon has been very good in that line. Their lenses seem to be really nice as well. I'll be interested to know what you guys think about this, because let me know how you think, if you're happy with these specs that I've just gone through. How long have I been going? 57 minutes. And probably what I'll do is I'll just put an announcement at the beginning of this to scroll to where I was going through these actual specifications, because otherwise people are going to be watching all that stuff early on, which was a bit of garbage, because it's quite interesting to see what you think. So overall, I don't know if it says, I think log JB is is if you're going to an external adapter, like you have to do it to something like the Shogun or something, the same as the 4K 10-bit. I'm just going to quickly go through some of these questions. I'll just go through some that are highlighted, because I've got to go in and have dinner, actually, because I've got a wedding client coming in an hour. Let me just scroll down, just see if anything else. Let me just see. Raymond said, nice to see you live, David. I know the Canon is hotcakes, but the news on the Tamron wide-angle lens for Sony, no, there's no news yet about Tamron, but they will bring out other ones. Casper said we should be sleeping, David. Patrick saying hi. I haven't seen prices yet either, how much it is to actually buy. I should check that in a minute to see if that's actually mentioned as well. I am what I am, good prosumer camera. I think it seems pretty good. It looks like it's range very similar to the Nikon version, the lower-ended version, obviously due to the megapixels, but video options I think are going to be much better on this due to the fact that it has that dual pixel AF, and it has that fold-out screen, which, you know, is amazing. Casper said, just sold all these Sony gear, that's funny. Yeah, there's no mention about crop, Michael. I haven't heard that either, whether it crops. So that's interesting. It probably will. Well, let's wait and see before we make a judgment on that. Final price is $2,299. Has that been confirmed? Has it, Chris? Sergio, was that what it was? Was it $2,299? That's US, obviously. Digital SLR says there is no crop when using 4K 30, but it will crop if using AFS lenses. That sort of makes sense, though, if it's using AFS lenses, though. That's similar to if you're using APS-C lenses on the Sony. So that makes sense. 28 to 70 f2 is $3,000. That's not bad for that. I'm surprised. I thought that may have even been a bit dearer. I know that's still a lot of money, but you're getting a hell of a lot of lens there for that money. It's going to be expensive here in Australia, though. What else? Canon Rumors is saying $2,299 for the body only, and $3,399 if you get that 24-105 kit. So it's not cheap. It's dearer than what the A7 III is. Matt said log and 422 wasn't mentioned earlier, so that is okay. However, I think a real wow level would be 422 internal. Yeah, it doesn't. It's definitely not internal. Reading that article, it's actually external. Aria said, I'm not sure if I like that control ring on the lens during wedding. I work very fast. It is separated, Oreo, though. So I think there's enough separation on that so it wouldn't be a problem, I think. It looks cool for YouTube camera, really, because of that flip screen. I agree, Michael, it does. No mention of IBIS, though, remember, either. So that's one thing where the Nikon has upped it. Nikon has IBIS. The Canon has the flip-out screen. So, you know... There's a plus for Nikon and there's a plus for the Canon as well. I suppose the lenses will have IBIS in them or stabilization. No word yet in the A7000, but I would think it wouldn't be too far off. The RF50 1.2 is $2,299. Z Pro Media, that 2870 f2 is US 3,000. Yeah, it's not cheap, Z, is it? Not cheap at all. 35 1.8 is 500. All these people now are saying sweet Jesus due to they're seeing the prices of what these lenses are. Look, guys, I knew those lenses were going to be expensive. And this is why I keep saying I think there's going to be a higher-ended Canon model release not too long away. Because if you're going to be paying that sort of money, you want a high-ended camera. Oop, nearly spilt my Milo. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. Does it have 2 memory card slots? No, it's only got one now. We've confirmed that. I knew that 2070 would be 3K. Yep. So now we know basically what it's going to be priced at. No IBIS, Michael. I know that's a real downer. There's no IBIS and no dual card slots. They're two real issues that camera hasn't got. And it's a shame because it looks like it's very strong for video. So it's a real shame that they haven't put IBIS on that. You know, it really is a letdown, particularly because that fold-out screen. I'm tempted to get one because of the fold-out screen, but I'll have to think about it. The Nikon 58 9.8 is going over $6,000. Yep, and that's a fully manual lens. Holy hell with those prices. I expected that to be about what it was going to be. Did I see sync speed of 1/200th in the shutter speed section? Oh, let me come back to see, because I was looking for that and I didn't see it. Let me just scroll back and just see if I can find that shutter speed, because I was curious about what the shutter speed was going to be for flashes. Autofocus, image, exposure control, shooting mode, external movie recording, silent shutter. I just can't find where it's saying this shutter. Yeah, I can't see it. So I can't see where it's actually saying shutter anywhere in this that I could talk about that. I hope it is higher than 1/200th though. I hope it's at least 1/250th. I'm not sure, but I can't find it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is. That's X-Sync at 1/200th, so that probably is it. I think that may be the flash X-Sync there. I'm not sure if the Canon terminology, but it does look there like it's sync at 1/200th of a second. Well, there you go. Sony A9 is the boss. How much for the adapters? I don't know that yet. It's 1/200th. It was written above. Okay. Flash sync speed was on the page before this. A7S3 will kill them all. 4K 30, 1/200th think speed. Yeah, I saw that then. 120 frames per second at 720p. Okay, yeah, thanks, Greg. Oh, that's Siri popping up.
Which one? Graham, Lorraine.
David takes a drink from his Sony cup. What else have we got? And that's probably just about it, I think. JB, there is IBIS. Where does it mention that, JB? I haven't seen IBIS mentioned anywhere. People will use gimbals for IBIS. One card slot, no IBIS, 120 frames per second, 720p, laugh out loud. Banks at 1/8,000th of a second to 30 seconds, total shutter speed, and the X-Sync is 1/200th. Greetings from California, it's 1 a.m, going to bed. It will ship with the adapter. They haven't said yet, so I'm not sure. All right, guys, I better go and have dinner anyway. Thanks so much for joining me. It really has been interesting. Look, I think overall, I mean, I believe if you're a Canon shooter, you're probably not going to hate this so much. You've got the similar problem like I discussed with Nikon, which had the 2 card slots. You haven't got IBIS on this camera, which the Nikon has, but you've got that fold-out screen, which the Nikon doesn't have, which I think is amazing for doing video and stuff like that. I think this probably will sell reasonably well. 4K 30p, you have got 10-bit 422 output to a monitor if you need it. It's a pity it's not internal. But the big downsides of the dual cards, you've only got 1 card in there. No IBIS, I suppose, it also is a real downer as well. It does have IAF though, so now that's been confirmed, which is great. We're not sure how well that'll work. We're going to have to wait and see how that works when it's released or when the reviews start coming out. Overall, that's about all I'll say for the moment. I might have a discussion about this tomorrow. Apart from that, guys, have a great evening. See you all soon. Bye for now.